Welcome to Older Militarist Radio TV, and we're lifelong Catholics, and what we do is all for free, and for our love of Jesus Christ, and for our Holy Mother, the Church, and we'll defend our Holy Mother, the Church. Today we are day 4 of the Artsakh Genocide, and we have some juicy new details on certain individuals helping Azerbaijan terrorists do what they do. And we welcome Brother Alexis to the program.
Thank you, AJ, for having me on this very sad series. We're talking about genocide in action while world leaders stand silent. So please like and share this program. There's not really many likes and shares of this program going on. A lot of Christians are seeing this program because we're sharing it on many platforms. Don't be silent, because if you let them kill 120,000 Christians in another part of the world, you're whetting their appetites and they're going to come for you and your children. So we must shout out our outrage at what's going on. So please like and share this program, and consider a generous donation to our Armenian Refuge Fund, because very soon there's going to be an absolute humanitarian crisis in the Armenian public. AJ, Artsakh, I'll do a small review before we begin. Artsakh is a small independent republic on the borders of Armenia and Azerbaijan in the mountains, where Armenians have lived for 10,000 years. And in 300 AD, the Armenians people were the first convert to the Christian faith. And in that year, all Christians were members of the same church, Catholic Church. And down through the centuries, they kept their faith, they kept their courage, and when the Soviet Union fell, they fought to take their homeland back and make it part of Armenia. And they became an independent republic because, for political reasons, neither the Armenian Republic nor the Azerbaijan Republic was going to recognize their independence. And our organizations helped them since 2000. And so we're very concerned with what's going on there, because this is the one independent Christian republic in the world that has no friends and not recognized by the international community, and none of the world leaders has done anything to help them. And that has mostly to do because the Azeri Republic is wealthy in oil, and they use their wealth to bribe world leaders. And so on September 19th, they began this attack on Artsakh. And what do we know so far in the last few days? Before you talk about today's information, we'll review for those not watching. What is the Azerbaijan regime attempting to do, and what methods are they using to achieve their goals?
First, they're trying to recapture the mountainous region of Artsakh that they fought over when the Soviet Union fell in 1991 and 1992, and then their chief goal is to take the Zangir corridor, which is the corridor which connects Armenia to Iran. And if they can take that, they have absolutely cut off all outside ties for Armenia to the outside world, where Armenia will become just a satellite of Azerbaijan and Turkey.
Yeah, so Armenia borders 4 countries: Iran, Azerbaijan, Georgia, and Turkey. Georgia is already a satellite of Turkey and Azerbaijan, because there's actually a pipeline that goes from Baku through Georgia to Turkey, to Greece, and to Italy, and supplying natural gas. And AJ will talk about that in a moment. So if they get their way in this little conflict, then that means Armenia will have no hope. Turkey and Azerbaijan in 2 years could start a war, and that will be the end of the Armenian race as a people. 5 million people will be genocided, just like we're seeing now. So how can we say in an objective, honest way that what's going on now in Artsakh is genocide, not just ethnic cleansing? What are some of the facts that we've seen in the last few days that show the malign intent of the Azeris?
So since the last Artsakh war, where the Azeris were showing every sort of brutality they did on video, they have like a new production manager telling them you can show that yourselves beating up on these folks, but when it gets time for you to behead these people or rape them, then behead them, then your cameras must be totally off and not show this.
So, how much news is coming out of our Artsakh?
Um, not not much because most of the communication is down and controlled, but when and if the cell phone signal is just right, in the Artsakh, people can use their cell phones and tell people to get a message out on social media on what is happening.
Okay, so this attack on Artsakh began at 5 in the morning on September 19th. What has happened since then? What's going on militarily? We'll start with that.
So the units that are under horrible military commands that are very politically correct have given up their weapons. But those who are of the old school uh, military mindset of the guys who fought in 92, they have not given up their weapons and have gone to fight guerrilla warfare in the mountains as they did in 92, which then defeated the Azerbaijanis.
Have the Hazaris occupied now all the cities of Artsakh with their ground forces?
Not yet.
Mm-hmm. So, what are they doing to civilians when they encounter them? What are the Azeri forces doing? Are they following the rules of war?
No,
Can you give some examples?
they are searching for children that are missing, especially little girls, to give to their terrorist soldiers so that they can have a rape companion. Then they also they have bounties on heads, ears, anything else they can slice off.
What are the Armenian Christians doing to flee? Are they trying to flee?
They are trying to flee. They are pretty much all in the city center of Stefankirk or at the Stefankirk International Airport, which is the base of the Russian peacekeepers.
Uh, it's getting really bad. They're trying to find hiding anywhere. We know this from what fact? What did the Russian peacekeepers recently announce?
They have gone full-blown U.S. business mode. The toilets, the kitchen, staff area is only for employees.
Yeah, so it shows you that people are trying to flee to toilets and hide in kitchens. That's how bad it is. Are planes being allowed to take off Stepanker? Are the Russians evacuating anyone?
Nope. If they try, they
So
get killed.
if they try to take off, they get killed.
Mm-hmm.
Are the Russians flying in more forces to try to stabilize this situation?
These peacekeepers, I believe, are not on Putin's friendship list.
So he's doing nothing to help them. So
Yep.
now we'll go to international leaders. There's been some really bizarre flip-flops of international leaders. We'll start with Viktor Orban. What's his position? I mean, his government started we're going to help persecuted Christians fund a couple of years ago. I think they invested 50 million or something, got all this publicity. You would think he's going to speak out strongly in favor of
Yeah.
Artsakh.
Let me get to this is why. Excuse me. Hungary vetoed EU's anti-Azerbaijani assertions on Karabakh. This was on September 22nd, and this is very unexpected if you don't know anything about Hungary and Orban. They are members of the Organization of Turkic States.
Yeah, okay. So The EU Parliament wanted to condemn Azerbaijan for the genocide, and Viktor Orban's government vetoed that.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, AJ, this is crazy. So have anyone ever heard of the Organization of Turkish States? This is the first time I've heard of it, and I thought I'm probably well informed. So the Organization of Turkish States founded Turkic states, not Turkish steaks, but Turkic states, was founded in 2009. It's basically Turkey, Azerbaijan, and the Turkish states of Central Asia, because the Turks aren't from Turkey. The Turks are from the Aral Sea, okay? And as that part of the world turned desert, they moved east. Hungary is an observer nation.
Yep.
But are there any Turks in Hungary?
5,000.
In a country of like more than 5 million, 10 million, it's like, that'd be like Italy saying, if we have 3 Albanian cities in southern Italy, we should join the Organization of Albanian States. Or that would be like the United States joining the Organization of Italian States, because there's 30 million Italian Americans in the United States. Did you think that would happen? No, it would never happen. Right? Or the Organization of Irish States, all the people where the Irish emigrated after the potato famine caused by the British government, genocide then. That's really bizarre. So we looked into the genealogy of Viktor Orban to see if he's Turkish, and his maternal grandfather and mother turned out to be what?
Ashkenazi Jews.
So we've been watching this a long time, and it's really not part of our program, but the president of Poland is married to a Jew, the president of Greece is married to a Jew, and then Viktor Orban is Jewish. And the Jews of Turkey are the ones who became Sabbateans, and the Sabbateans actually pushed Christian genocide. And AJ did a program at Order Militaris Radio TV show that the Sabbateans were behind the original Armenian genocide. So people need to start asking, who is Viktor Orban? Is he Sabbatean Jew? So what other leader in Europe who spoke strongly about defending Europe against invasion has now flip-flopped?
Meloni of Italy.
And is her government actually assisting Azerbaijan in killing Christians?
Yes, she has sold military helicopters and is in talks with the Azerbaijan for another 1 to 2 billion euro more. So they're going to sell even more military attack helicopters to Azerbaijan.
And this is a woman who said, I'm all for Christian values and defending the Christian family. Yeah. This is outrageous, and Christians of the world need to unite and stand up for this, because you can get upset about your church being burnt down by Marxists or Muslims in your part of the world, rightfully so. But we cannot remain silent at the murder of 120,000 Christians anywhere in the world. And if these people were Jews or Muslims, the mainstream media would be screaming 24/7, it needs to stop. The UN would be mobilizing its ground forces. NATO would have its air cover over the country. But no, Turkey's standing by doing nothing, and no one's sanctioning Turkey over their behavior. And where are the NATO air forces? NATO has the air capacity. They had over Syria all throughout the Syrian civil war. Where are they now as Christians are being killed?
And the main amazing general who fought in 1992 is now the frontline commander of the troops in Artsakh. He's like, I've been abandoned by passion. I have a walkie-talkie. I have the army behind me. We are going to the mountains to do old school fighting like we did in 92. And we're going to take Turks to their grave.
He means the Azeris, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're Turkish people. So The Armenian government has stated that it is ready to take 40,000 families as refugees from Artsakh. That's about the entire population, if they're allowed to leave with their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And it's difficult because if they even walk down the road to Armenia, they'll be shot to death.
Mm-hmm.
But we're hoping that this will end, this atrocity will end, and the governments will prevail to at least allow the people to leave. Because if the Azeri government wants to genocide them, they can't live there anymore, even if they have the right to live there. It's pretty obvious. And we're totally behind the recognition of Artsakh's independence, but the saving of lives is more important because we're Christians.
Yeah.
So we ask you to consider donating to our Armenian Refugee Fund, a fund that will go exclusively to charities inside the territory of the Armenian Republic, recognized charities, who have proven work helping Armenian refugees from Artsakh. Because 40,000 families, they're going to lose their work, they're going to lose all their possessions. Many of their family members are going to be injured or killed. They're going to need a lot of support to recover from this over the next few years. It's not just in this present crisis, which we hope ameliorates and doesn't go down the absolute hellish abyss that it appears to be going. This is something that looks like it's going to rival the atrocities committed by the Nazis in the Ukraine. And we hear a lot about, rounding up everyone in the village and shooting to death, whether they were Poles or Ukrainians or Jews. And people complain about that, but this is many orders of magnitude bigger. And we should speak out loudly about this. You should write your ambassadors. You should write your national governments. You should complain. You should write to your ambassadors in Georgia, Iran, Azerbaijan, Turkey, and Israel, and Moscow, if your country has ambassadors still knows it, and complain loudly that these countries shouldn't stand quiet. They shouldn't stand by and let this happen. And you should write your national leaders and say, if you're silent about this, you have blood on your hands. If your country is a member of NATO or the European Union, you should write the chief general in charge of NATO, or you should write the president of the European Union and complain bitterly about what's going on. This should not be tolerated. NATO and the European Union and the United Nations intervened significantly to save the Muslim population of Kosovo, who had no legal status, and to stop their genocide by radical Serbians. What's going on in Artsakh? Absolute dead silence. None of these organizations are mobilizing to save Christians. And there's more Christians in Artsakh than there were Muslims in Kosovo. So I urge you to be generous to our refugee fund, to like and share this program, and to talk to everyone about it. Start sharing on social media what's going on. People need to know what's happening. We can't be silent.
Yeah. This is Order Militaris Radio TV signing off. Day is full.
Day is full.